Yes, team, and welcome back to Mindset Mastery. Can you guys believe this is session 50? That's over 50 hours of world-class mindset trainings. And I'm going to come on to why this is important and why I want you to make sure that you've done each and every one of them and what the result will be of that. But today, before I come on to this intro, we're going to be discussing 10 life-changing mindset shifts that I've taken from all of the 50 trainings that will essentially rewire your mind, rewire your future, and rewire your success. So this is not just another session today. This is a moment. And if you're watching this, you should have been through 50 sessions of powerful breakthroughs. And you should have been doing at least one per week. And that in itself would make you a master of your subject. Just let that sit there for a minute. Now, if you haven't been doing at least one per week and you've been getting distracted, I guarantee you that's why the mind might not quite be where you want it to be. So make sure you stick to each one each week. This should be week 50 of powerful breakthroughs. This should be 50 weeks that you've shown up for yourself and worked on your mind. 50 weeks of rewiring your mind. 50 weeks of building a better life. 50 weeks of being aware. 50 weeks of taking responsibility. 50 weeks of taking action, of showing up for yourself and proving to yourself that no matter how far you've fallen, you can always rise back to the very top, just like I did. So we're going to go through the ultimate recap today. I'm going to share 10 of the most powerful mindset shifts that we've covered over the last 49 sessions. The ones that have changed lives, the ones that have created momentum, and the ones that have helped hundreds of you go from stuck, lost, and overwhelmed to powerful, consistent, and free. So sit back, relax, and if you're ready to take everything you've learned, embed it even deeper and walk away with a bulletproof mindset that will serve you for the rest of your life, this is going to be the session for you. And I think this will be one that you'll come back to time and time again, but I cannot reiterate this enough. Do each session one at a time. Write down your insights in your life journal. I recommend getting a book. If you haven't already, you can go back and do all 50 again. Every single mindset session that I've ever done, I've done more than once, whether it's when I've been with Paul, when I've been with Peter Sage, when I've been with Phil, the Tony Robbins stuff and everything in between. I've done them repetitively until I learned them, and that's how I became a master of my craft. So if you're not quite there yet, that would be what I would recommend doing. Getting a full A4 bound diary and going back session 1, making your insights, your personal insights. Session 2, your personal insights. Session 3, your personal insights. 50, you could essentially do, if you wanted to go hardcore, 50 days of that. And that's actually a challenge that I've just created that isn't anywhere on these notes. You have no idea how different your life would look if right now you committed to one mindset session per day. You went back to the beginning of this mindset mastery course. You went back to the beginning of the YouTubes. Remember, they're on YouTube as a private playlist, as well as the membership site, whichever works best for you. And you did one per day and made your insights. That's around about 60 minutes work per day. For 50 days, you and your life and everyone in it would be in absolute ecstasy. You would be on absolute fire. You would be feeling mentally stronger than you ever have before. And the reality is, you have the opportunity to do that right now. You can choose to do that and get the benefits that I just described, which would be the best ever version of you in just 50 days from now. Or you can choose not to and get distracted and do Netflix and scroll and not do your affirmations and not complete your journey. That's a choice. And ultimately, the choices and the decisions that you make are what will shape your life and your personal reality. So grab your notepad, sit somewhere quiet, and eliminate all distractions. Now, just a quick one. I know some of you prefer just being able to hit the YouTube link in the personal group and watch the video. I do not advise doing this, okay? I've only done that because some of you expressed the membership site was a barrier to you watching the sessions, especially when you're driving. 2 reasons why. One, the only reason is that you can't actually be asked to log into the membership site. It's easier just to click a link. Now, if that's a mindset you have in life, then you need to assess that over and above anything, because you're saying, I just want the quick and easy. I can't be bothered doing the thing that takes a whole 30 seconds longer. Remember, you can save the site to the desktop on your phone. You need to click it, get it to save your password, go to the sessions, they're all in order. That's number 1. Number 2 is YouTube is riddled with fucking distractions. We've done a whole session on how distraction is the real pandemic that's destroying your future. So the reason why I spent hours and thousands of pounds creating the membership site was so that you can watch it without adverts, without distraction, without getting tempted to watch a crazy video of a fucking horse playing a piano on the right hand side, or get lulled into a new fat loss plan, or lulled into essentially something that's going to just distract you away from what you should be doing, which is watching the training. So as I said, grab your notepad, get somewhere quiet, eliminate distractions, and let's dive in, because this next 45 minutes could literally change everything for you, but not to the level if you did that for the next 50 days. So shift 1, the truth about overwhelm. I've said this so many times. Overwhelm is a myth. Overwhelm is the inability to focus on one task at a time until it's complete. So overwhelm is not caused by having too much to do. Overwhelm is caused by not knowing what to do next and focusing on one thing at a time. That's why you have 2 sections on your Unbreakable 90 Daily Success Planner. Number 1, what's today's most important task? Number 2, what are today's next 3 most important tasks? Everything else should be hidden away on a shit list inside a drawer for if you get those things completed. So that training changed everything for so many people, especially people who felt stuck and anxious and burned out in terms of overwhelm, because overwhelm really is a lack of clarity. It's not your to-do list, it's the lack of having a clear action list. To-do lists are Sunday league. So I break this down into planning the day before it starts. I actually plan it before I go to bed, because I don't want to be waking up thinking, oh my God, I've got so much to do today. Right, what am I going to do first? And that's it, you're off. List of jobs, no priority, no urgency, no nothing. You can't operate like that. It's amateur. Structure your mornings for power, purpose, and peace. Plan your day. What doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. Because the truth is, you don't need more time. You just need better focus, and you need a better plan. And you cannot leave things down to your feelings, which I'm going to come on to as well, because your actions should be dictated by your schedule and your plan, your goals, your meaning, and your purpose, not your feelings. If you only show up when you feel like it, if you're anything like me, that's not going to be a lot of the time. Shift number 2, audit your time. How you spend your time will always show me your values and your priorities. And I've said this since 2018, I think, when I first started doing mindset work, of which there are still some of them on YouTube. They are horrific, but the message is still good. I didn't have any presenting skills or confidence. Show me your habits and I'll show you your future. Show me what you do every day and I'll show you your future. So this could come down to anything from the positives of going to the gym or the negatives of something like drinking. So this was brought up in the training when we spoke about the brutal truth about alcohol and the habits. Now, drinking isn't just about drinking and the negative effects. It's about how we avoid life. It's about how we numb ourselves from responsibility and how we escape. Now, we'll often claim that we're too busy to eat well, train well, journal, but yet every single weekend we manage to find time for a social. That's absolute bullcrap. We'll find hours for scrolling, hours for YouTube, hours for drinking, hours for worrying, hours for arguing, hours for playing Mother Teresa and people training. But no, we haven't got time to journal or meditate or go to the gym. So it's your habits. And the truth is, as I've said so many times, if it's not in your calendar, it's not important to you. It's that simple. Show me your calendar and I'll show you your results. Show me your calendar for this week and I'll show you how your week's going to go. Because at the minute, without any shadow of a doubt, I bet every single one of you has at least 20 hours of meaningless gaps in your week that will just get filled with other people's drama, other people's bullshit, scrolling, YouTube, Netflix, boozing, socials, and everything in between. You have to have a plan because, as I said, if it's not in there, it's not important to you. So if it matters to you, then get it in the diary. Because the reality is, if you say it matters, but you don't schedule it and act like it matters, it doesn't. You can't say my physical and mental health and how I look and my confidence is the most important thing in the world to me and run to Chubby's fucking takeaway and the pub every Friday, Saturday and Sunday. You're straight up lying to yourself, and that's what's keeping you stuck. So this was the week when a lot of people watched that training, and go back and watch it, The Brutal Truth About Alcohol. It's not just related to alcohol. That people actually said, I'm done lying to myself. I'm done talking shit. I'm done pretending. I'm done playing small. And that's a big shift for you to go through, ownership and responsibility. Shift number 3 that I pulled out, and I feel like I've done this one until I'm red in the face or blue in the teeth or whatever random expressions I've come up with in the past, but it's the victim versus the warrior. It's the most important mind shift I've ever covered and that I ever will cover, and that changed my own life. The victim believes that life happens to them. The warrior believes that life happens for them. Victims blame, complain, and justify. Warriors own, adapt, and rise. So I cannot rant this home to you any harder than I have. And until you listen to it, I promise you, you're fucked. As long as you continue to blame anyone or anything for the reason why you are where you are, or how you feel, why you feel the way you feel, you'll always stay stuck. And this might sound like the most brutal, horrible thing in the world. I don't fucking care how your ex treated you. I don't care how your parents let you down. I don't care what your husband or wife is currently not doing, or what your boss is doing that's not making you feel okay, or your friend or anything else. Because it will keep you stuck. Like the second, and it's so hard, guys, and I feel for you and I've done it myself. I've spent so much time blaming friends, blaming exes, blaming the world, blaming my dad, blaming everyone, anyone that I could find to blame. And as long as you do, your future will always belong to them. And the second you can make a decision, and fuck me, if there's anything in the world I want for you, it's that I want you to make this decision right now. When you can really say it and mean it and stick to it and say, I will never, ever, ever, this is an affirmation in itself, I will never, ever, 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 ever blame anyone or anything for how I feel or where I am. You will be so free. Every area of your life will go to new levels because you're saying, I'm in charge. Now, this is so hard. Like Paul Moore, when we worked together, used to call me out on this all the time. I would generally only ever speak to Paul when I was struggling. And he'd allow me to talk for however long it was, 5 minutes. Then he'd stop and he'd pause and he'd say, sounds like you're looking for someone to blame. And I'd just want to die. Because you will subconsciously start to do it. I do it. So if you're feeling called out and triggered right now, good. Exactly like I did. But you have to realize that. Every time you do it, you're taking a step back. Your life, your responsibility, it's all on you. So when you choose to lead yourself, when you choose to never blame, when you literally make that decision, it is the most powerful, freeing thing you will ever do. It will set you free. Blaming will keep you stuck. swearing on your own life that you will never blame another person ever again will completely set you free. Because trust me, victimhood will kill your dreams. Choose the warrior every day. And the warrior focuses on what they can control and what they can change. That's why they feel empowered and they focus on the future. The victim focuses on what they can't control, what they can't change, the past and whose fault it was. Shift number 4, talking of shifting, I'm going to have to get a shift on. We're going to be here all day. So this was the foundation of session 28, which was the principle of change. Change is the hardest thing in the world. With my memory, I can even remember studying a seminar at university which was about the management of change and how difficult it is. It's the hardest thing in the world because if nothing changes, nothing changes. And most people are resistant to change because they're addicted to who they are. They're addicted to their identity and their past because it feels safe, but it will keep you stuck. Thoughts become things. Whatever you think about, you'll become. Whatever you think about will become your reality. Now, I wrote this down slightly different on this one because I've heard this before. I learned it from Phil and I've repeated it, and it's so true, but it can be so confusing. So you are not your thoughts, or your thoughts are not reality, and reality is not your thoughts. But essentially, you will become what you think about the most. So just because you think something, just because you think you're not good enough, it doesn't mean it's real. Just because somebody else says that you're not good enough, that also doesn't mean it's real. So reality is not your thoughts and your thoughts are not reality. But whatever you think about the most is what you will become. So we've talked about observing your thoughts. We've talked about replacing limiting beliefs with empowering ones, which is huge. Change your beliefs and you'll change your life. Remember, a belief is nothing more than a thought that you've repetitively had. And we do this by using affirmations. Go back to the manifestation podcast and training. We do this by visualizing to rewire our subconscious thoughts. And every single change in life starts with one thought and one decision. I refuse to accept this anymore. I refuse to live like this. And that one thought forms a new belief. That new belief forms a new habit. That new habit forms a new behavior. And when all of those are born, a new identity and new progress is built. But the other side note that I want to talk about there is I think I've done 5 or 6 different trainings now within the portal on neuroplasticity, on rewiring the brain, on how neurons that fire together wire together. And from this section, what I want you to take away is the power of visualization is not manifestation. It's not wishy-washy. It's not, let's all sit in this room with our legs crossed and our hands like this and we'll hum and we'll put some music on and we'll manifest our dream man or woman. We'll manifest our dream car. We'll manifest our dream life. Manifestation without action is fucking bullshit. This is why it works. You visualize and manifest on such a level that you're, I don't know why I'm doing that, that you constantly feel inspired to do the work because you believe that as long as you show up and do the work, you will get the thing that you wanted. The unfortunate thing is it works the other way. If people do not believe they will ever lose weight, they will never consistently go to the gym. Why would you? The analogy that I used in one of the sessions was, if you didn't think the butchers had any steak, would you drive to the butchers to buy some steak? Of course you wouldn't. You don't think they've got any fucking steak, so what's the point? If you didn't believe that your boss was going to pay you at the end of this week, would you bother going to work? Of course you wouldn't. You don't believe he's going to pay you, so what's the point? Goals in life, especially fitness and fat loss, are exactly the same. If you don't believe you're ever going to have your dream body, your dream life, your dream wife, your dream career, then you'll never show up as the person that's doing the work to get them because you don't believe that you're going to get it. If you don't believe you're ever going to lose weight, why would you bother sticking to your diet plan and going to the gym? you don't believe you're going to lose weight. So there's absolutely no point. So this is how we build a new identity. We have to believe it and visualize it on a level that it's already ours. And I spoke about how Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about it being an order from the cosmic universe. So when you order something from Amazon Prime, click, one click and it's in the post, you don't then sit back and think, I wonder if that apple mouse that I ordered yesterday is actually going to arrive. I mean, it might do, it might not. You know it's going to arrive. And life's the same. So create your own Amazon of what you want to achieve, what you want to order, and then believe it on such a level and remind yourself every day that you're constantly inspired to do the work because you already believe it's yours. So you're already showing up as the person who's going to get it. Now, that comes from taking action, not just sitting back and manifesting. So shift number 5. Results and consistency will never come from motivation. As Goggins famously said, motivation is bullcrap. As Freeman famously said, relying on motivation is like relying on the British weather. And if you're watching this live this week in the UK after our quarterly event at Lake Coniston, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. You can't rely on it. If you only do the work when you feel motivated, you're never going to do the work half the time because you're not going to feel motivated. And you're allowing your feelings, not your goals, your schedule and your inspiration, to control your actions. If I only did the work, do you think I feel like doing the podcast every week? Do you think I feel like doing the training every week? Do you think I felt like doing all the training runs that I did for the 200-mile run? Of course I didn't. Some days my motivation was on its fucking backside. But I had the meaning, I had the purpose, I had the inspiration, I had the drive because it was down to the goal and the schedule that I'd created to do it. So you don't need to be more motivated. You don't need to rely on motivation. You need a deeper purpose, more meaning, more mission, and better habits. My mission is to help as many people as possible feel physically stronger, mentally happier, and more positively. That's why I show up here every week. Not because I'm motivated to come and jump on a members training, not because I'm motivated to film another podcast, not because I wake up at 6 a.m. every day and think, I can't wait to write the morning message this morning. I do it because it's my mission, and my mission has meaning. And when my mission has meaning, I don't need motivation. Motivation is just a fleeting feeling, and feelings lie, okay? Purpose is direction, and purpose leads. Purpose is solid, okay? Your brain will reward habits with dopamine, and then you'll feel motivated. You don't get the motivation first. So create your meaning, create your purpose, create targets, create urgency, create scarcity, track your wins, and build triggers in a schedule that makes showing up automatic, irrelevant of how you feel like it. Because trust me, motivation is the most unreliable bitch on this earth. But your identity isn't. Your identity's solid. Your schedule's solid. If you create a schedule, it doesn't change. Motivation will always come and go. So build habits and actions that are scheduled in based on your meaning and your purpose. Shift number 6 is another big one. You are not your past. I spoke about this in the session on crushing limiting beliefs. Just because something has happened and something has always been that way, that doesn't mean it's true. And that doesn't mean it's the way it always has to be. I hate it when people say, I am a technophobe, I always quit, I have imposter syndrome, I am this, I am that. Change the narrative. Change what it means. Couple of people I've spoken to recently, if you're watching this, you'll know who you are, but their email addresses were actually the most depressing, identity downshifting things on this earth. One of the purple's email address basically stated how she was broken, and that was her identity. And one of them actually had an Instagram profile that basically stated herself as a chronic illness warrior. Like, so what is the emphasis on? Being broken, having a chronic illness. What my identity is basically something negative about me that I can't change. You're basically reaffirming that, and that's going to keep you stuck, when the identity shift could have just been, I am a warrior. I am a person who doesn't quit. I am a survivor. I am a warrior, not a victim. So you have to understand, you are not your past, you're not your past circumstances, and you're not your past beliefs. Any of those can be changed. You're not your childhood, you're not your trauma, you're not your mistakes, but you are who you choose to become. You're the identity that you create from this point on. And the creating the new identity training is one of the most powerful trainings that I've ever created. Like, you have to do this training, and you have to drop the story about what keeps you stuck, because you have the power now to rewrite your rules, rewrite your identity, rewrite your beliefs, create new habits, create a new future, and redesign your entire life. Shift number 7. Again, I talk about this throughout all of the trainings, but I wanted it to be a big reminder in this session. Your energy is your greatest asset. Now, when I did session 41, which was called Why Physical Health is the Foundation of Mental Health, I wrote down, what does an elite level of self-care mean? What are the most important factors of mental health? What are the most important factors of mindset, happiness? And it all came back to physical fitness. Like, physical fitness will always improve your energy. When your energy's on point, you're on point. If you're watching this now and you haven't yet, episode 15 of my podcast is all on how your energy creates your reality. So whatever energy you're giving out is what you will receive back. If you give out love, compassion, kindness, positivity, focus, then you're going to receive all of that back. If you give out frustration, anger, stress, worry, you're going to receive that back. But essentially, your energy is created very often from your level of physical fitness. So your body is not separate from your mind. Mental health needs physical support, and physical health needs mental support. But if you're tired, inflamed, stressed out, undernourished, dehydrated, sedentary, stiff joints, tight muscles, then you're always going to feel anxious, unfocused, and unmotivated. Your energy is always going to be low because your body feels like crap. So physical fitness is the foundation of mental health. It's the foundation of success because it's where all your energy comes from, just like sleep and hydration, which I go into in that training. But if you want to win the day, you have to win the morning. That sounds so cliched and so cheesy, but essentially what happens in your first hour of the day will create your day. So it's the time to move your body. It's the time to hydrate, stretch, nourish the body, nourish the mind, go and get some fresh air. You know, the circadian rhythm is massive. We were designed to get up and go out into daylight, not to sit in a dark room, snoozing for half an hour, scrolling on social media. If you want to have a really shit day, by the way, do that. But we have to understand that our energy and how we start the day and what we focus on and what we choose to affirm. I'm the creator of my own destiny. My energy creates my reality. I'm in charge. I'm a warrior, not a victim. I don't blame. Will completely create what experience of life you have every single day. So manage it like your life depends on it, because essentially the reality is your happiness does. Shift number 8 is learning the different form of leadership. Self-leadership. So many people are trying to lead others, and the fucking hell are there some coaches doing this, that they can't even lead their own lives, and they wonder why things aren't working well. Like, you can't lead others until you lead yourself. You can't expect people to show up in your business at a level above which you show up yourself. You can't expect family members to show up above the level that you show up for yourself. Everything comes from within. Leaders need to lead, but leading comes from self-leadership. If you can't lead yourself, then you certainly can't lead others. And this also built into the training on why being selfish is best for everyone. Fit your own oxygen mask first. So many people are running around trying to fix everyone when the real thing that needs fixing is themselves. So you have to understand that when you lead, you will attract. When you lead, people will follow. When you don't, you'll end up fitting in with the crowd. But as I've said so many times, you are the superstar of your own movie. Like, you're not an extra. So you have to lead your own life first. And we can't wait to be rescued. We can't fit in with other people's dreams. We can't people please. We can't go with the flow. As I've said, the only thing that goes with the flow is dead fish. We have to live our own life. And when we do, and when we're authentic and we remove the mask of insecurity, then we will attract everything that we want. The right people will love us and the other people don't matter. But you have to stop playing small. You have to stop living other people's lives. You have to stop asking for permission. Don't ask for permission to do what you want. Just go and do it. You don't need a title to be a leader. It's not about being the rugby captain. It's not about being the sergeant major. It's not about being the CEO. It's about being the CEO of your own life, your own goals, your own dreams, your own aspiration. You don't have to ask for permission to start a business, to change your job, to end a relationship. You do you. And until you do, you're always going to have chaos in your head because you're not being authentic you. But you need to have integrity to do this. You need to have your own opinions, your own missions, your own dreams, and stand by them, irrelevant of what's going on around you. You need standards. Set the standard for those around you. And you need courage to do what you want to do, irrelevant of other people's response to it. I've said this so many times. If you are not making decisions in your life that you want to make because you're worried about how other people may feel or react, then you're always going to stay stuck. Their happiness isn't your responsibility, it's theirs. Your happiness is your responsibility. So do you, be authentic, have the courage, have the integrity, and make sure that you're playing the leading role of your own life, not an extra in someone else's dream, because that's a one-way road to anger, resentment, and frustration. Shift 9, probably the biggest thing that people expect not to happen and then throw the toys out of the pram or give up when it does. You will fail. Time and time again. You will get punched in the face. You will get kicked out of the boat. You will get trodden on when you're down. That's all part of the journey. The line to success is never straight. And if you're expecting to achieve amazing things without setbacks, without failure, without disappointment, and everything in between, that's what's keeping you stuck, because you're avoiding that pain because you don't want to go through it to get to the next level. And the best analogy, this was session 46, on how to handle failure, setbacks, and disappointment. Like, if you want to be a world champion boxer, you're going to get fucking punched. Time and time and time again, you're going to get knocked down and you're going to have to get back up and you're going to have to keep going. And then you're going to have to reassess and then you're going to have to learn. And then you're going to have to get more coaching and then you'll probably get knocked down again. The person that says, I've been knocked down enough times now, that's it, I'm out. Drifting back into living someone else's life. And then what they do is they sit in the spectator's seat of the boxing match and they slag off everyone that's getting hit. They slag off everyone that's getting punched. Oh, told you she'd never make it. Oh, who does he think he is? Because he's just landed 10 punches. You will become the spectator and you'll become resentful and you'll become angry. But fail means first attempt in learning. Trust me, if you're not facing challenge, if you're not facing disappointment, if you're not facing setback, then you ain't playing big enough. You're playing safe. And safe is a one-way road to mediocrity. I'm guessing you don't want a mediocre life, and if you did, you wouldn't watching this, but you cannot win a fight without getting punched, no matter how good a boxer you are. So it's not about avoiding the punches. Famous quote, isn't it? It's not about avoiding the storm, it's about learning to dance in the rain. Every time you get punched, you're going to get a lesson of, I don't want to do that again because I'm going to get punched, and you improve. So many people quit when they hit resistance or it gets tough. Pushing through that is what will build your strength and character the most. I would not be anywhere near as strong as I am without the level of adversity that I've overcome. And I wrote this down because this is one of the most memorable things that I've ever heard. Susie Ashworth, I love you, by the way. So Susie is a mentor. She's very much into the universe and stuff and empowerment. And I think the phrase we used at the time was, when you can do this, you become unfuckwithable. So we can be grateful for all the challenge that we've faced, for all the adversity that we've overcome, for everything, because it's how we grew and it's what made us stronger. And we understand that failure is feedback, failure is data. Even the word fail means the first attempt in learning, that we can't succeed without failing, that it's data that dictates how we can grow. But this was a life changer for me. This is what we talked about, being unfuckwithable. I'm grateful for all challenge that hasn't yet happened. I'm grateful for future adversity, future failure, future disappointment. Because one, I expect it, and I know it's the key to growth. And two, I know that I can't get to where I want to go without going through it. So rather than, oh no, why has this happened again? Oh, everything would just go, me and Cam were talking about this before, everything was just going so well, and then fuck off, the world went, sit the fuck back down just when you thought you were doing great. Like, the unfuckwithable, and this is hard, I'm grateful for what's coming. Any adversity that's coming my way, I'm grateful for it, because when I know I've gone through the pain, which won't be easy at the time, I know there will be a lesson that I'll take forward and make me stronger. So when you can be grateful for anything that's bad that's going to happen, because you know that's the only way you grow, that's when your mind goes to new levels. So, you know, as I said, if you're not failing, if you're not getting punched, you're not even in the ring. You're spectating other people's lives. So let failure sharpen you. Number 10, before we come on to our world-class, world-famous members' questions and also some action steps for today. So shift 10. I've done multiple trainings on this. I did it live at Mindset Mastery, and it was one of the game-changing moments from me. It initially came from Dan Sullivan, who described them as non-growth habits, and I then changed it into my not-to-do list. So success is very often about what we need to stop doing. Like, oh my God, from a personal perspective, the amount of times I'll just invest in another Facebook adverts agency. I mean, I've already spent upwards of £100,000 in the last 3 years. Every single one of them fucked me over. Every single one of them just quoted vanity metrics like likes and shares and clicks, even though no income came from it. I'll just try this last one. It's the same with like addicts with things like booze and coke. Oh, I'll just get smashed one more time in case I don't have the same mental response as the 1,000 times that I did it before and felt that way. You know, I'll just, you know, happens in relationships. I'll just go back to the person that's cheated on me 10 times just to check, oh no, they've done it 11 times. It's like we get these lessons, right? And we just keep doing the same thing. And if we're not aware, it just leads us backwards, 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 backwards. So very often it's, what do I need to stop doing? Well, what am I really doing when I'm going off on a tangent here, but what am I really doing invested in another Facebook ads agency? I'm hoping that someone's going to get me all the things that I want without me doing the work if I just give them some money. Same with some mentorships. I had that lesson about 15 times before I realized, no, Lee, you're going to have to do this yourself. You know, same with many of you that are probably signed up to fat loss body transformation coaches who have never done anything more than transform their own body, but promised you the world and didn't do anything because they told you you could get all the stuff really easy without doing the work. And it sounded amazing. So that was one big thing for me. But the non-growth habits are what we actually just need to remove. So for me, they're all of those things. I need to stop looking for quick, easy and pain-free, because every time I do, whack, I'm going to get a big fat reminder from the universe that life doesn't work that way. Quick, easy, pain-free does not exist. Okay? Seek out the path of most resistance. Do the work. Be willing to do the learning yourself. Stop getting scammed by people who promise the world and deliver nothing. Because if something seems too good to be true, guess what? Woohoo! Cryptocurrency, it fucking is, unless you're one of the 0.0001% of people that got into Bitcoin at the beginning. Essentially, everyone else has been. So again, this is what people are looking for. That's why they pile money into it. It's why people get pulled into what are they called? Ponzi selling schemes or whatever they are. Probably said that wrong, but Ponzi, I think. Because they're just looking for a way to get where they want without doing the work. And whatever your lesson is, that's a personal one from me. But when you can create your own list, I think I had 29 if you go back and watch that training of what I need to stop doing, then I didn't actually need to do anything more. I just needed to stop making the same mistakes. So the reality is you're 100% committed to your current set of actions. And that's what you do daily and repeat daily. As I said, show me your habits, I'll show you your results. So the most life-changing thing you can do often isn't what you need to do more of, it's just what you need to stop doing. So stop saying yes to shit that you hate. Stop numbing yourself and self-soothing with booze, drugs, alcohol, food, gambling, sex, whatever it is. Stop lying to yourself about the work that you've done. Every single person in this group has done this. You do not track your food accurately. You convince yourself you're on far less calories than you actually are, that you trained far harder than you actually did, and then you're disappointed with the lack of results that you didn't get with the work that if you were really truthful to yourself, you know you didn't do. Same with me in business. Stop reacting to everything. Stop putting yourself last. Remember the Ryanair analogy. So the magic isn't in doing more. It's very often in doing less of what doesn't serve you. So today's member challenges questions. Which one of those 10 mindset shifts hit you the hardest? They'll be listed below in the description, by the way. Where are you still living like a victim instead of a warrior? And what needs to change? What habit do you need to stop doing today? What habit do you need to start doing today? What belief, standard, or identity do you need to let go of? And what belief, standard, or identity do you need to claim? So your action steps are journal out these tonight. Look at the mindset shifts and look at where you need to work personally. But also remember, you've just completed session 50 of Mindset Mastery. If you are watching this and you've completed all the 49 sessions and you did that in less than a year, I guarantee you you're on absolute fire now. If not, and you've skipped straight to this one, many of you will, I know you will, then go back and do the graft. Do every session, do the insights, do the journaling, do the aha moments, and log them in your own personal journey of life. So that's it, we've wrapped it up. Here's to the next 50. That's 50 hours of growth, truth, awareness, and breakthroughs. Over 50 hours of coaching, 50 chances and opportunities to become the best possible version of you. And the best thing is, this is only the beginning. As I said, there will be another 50 sessions, but I want you to just remember my affirmations again today. You are the master of your own destiny. You are completely in charge. Your energy creates your reality. And your future is there for the taking. It's always been there. And everything you need is already within you. Because when you truly learn that when you can control yourself, irrelevant of what's going on around you, then you will move to new levels of the game. Keep doing the work, keep showing up, keep getting in the ring, keep willing to be punched, and everything you want is on the other side of that, because you are always enough and everything you have is already inside you. Guys, I love you all.